In this video, let us discuss the functions. Functions contains the number of statements that gets executed when you call them. Functions make the program more reusable and easy to read. Reusable means you write the function one time and you can use the function multiple times throughout the program. This makes the program easy to read and also reduce the number of same lines of statement you write multiple times. So if you write the same number of lines multiple times, this makes the program more difficult to read. So if you put them inside the function and you can call them multiple times whenever you want. Let us now discuss the different types of functions available in Python. There are two types, that is the built-in function and the user-defined functions. Built-in functions like you have the print statement and len function. These are all the built-in functions that is available in Python. Let us now see the user-defined function. User-defined functions means you create a function by yourself. The syntax for user-defined functions will look something like this. You use def keyword for defining a function and then you will use the function name. You can use whatever you want. In this case, I will write greeting as a function name. Then you followed by the parentheses. After the parentheses, you make a colon and then you can have any number of statements. Statement 1, statement 2, and optionally you can return a value or not. If you simply write a function and if you didn't call the function will not get executed. If you define a function, you will have to call the function to execute it. So to call the function, you just use the function name followed by the parentheses. This is a calling a function. Let us now see an example to understand this further. So I am going to use the keyword def, and for the function name I will use the greeting and followed by the parentheses and colon, and inside the function I just greet a user. So print of hello user1. So let's save this and run now. As you can see, nothing happens. You will have to call the function to get executed. So greeting. So if you save this and run now, as you can see, executed hello user1. If you again call the function, like here we call the function again, as you can see, you will get two times hello user1 and hello user1. This is what I mean by the reusability in the beginning of the video. Let us now see the function arguments. Here we are just using a static data, that is hello user1. We do not get any input from the user. You can also pass some input to the function via the arguments. Arguments are like you pass some values to the function. So if you want to greet user2, then you can pass this value inside these parentheses. Now we have passed the value to the function. We will have to collect it. For this we will use a variable here. This is called the parameter. When you pass a value, this is called the argument, and when you receive a value, this is the parameter. So instead of greeting user1, I will now use the variable, that is name. So let's save this and run now. As you can see, it displays hello user2. You can pass any number of value like user3. As you can see, it displays hello user2 and hello user3. It will print the name for each user for each call of the function. This is how you pass some input value to the function in the form of arguments and parameters. Now let us see a function with return value. To explain this function with return value, we will take a simple example of adding a two number. So let's define a function that takes two values, a comma b. This value will be passed by the user when calling a function. So we simply just return a plus b. Now we have defined the function. Let's call the function with some values. So sum of 10 comma 20. So let's save this and run now. As you can see, this time also nothing prints because we just call the function and the function will return some value. It didn't print anything. So it just returned a plus b. You can either print the result directly here. As you can see, it displays 30 now, or you can store the returned value from the function in a variable and then you can print the variable. As you can see, it also displays the same value here. So when you get a return value, you can directly print the value, or you can store it in a variable and then you can print the variable. Let us see the different types of function arguments. So this is actually a positional arguments because the values get assigned to the parameters in the way they are receiving. Here A will get assigned 10 and B will get assigned 20. If you interchange the position 20, 10, now A will get assigned 20 and B will get assigned 10. This is the positional arguments. In the positional arguments, the parameters will get assigned in the order of receiving. Let us now see the keyword arguments. Keyword arguments means you don't follow any order. For example, if you want the B value to always have 20, you can just use the keyword, that is B equal to 20 and A equal to 10. We have interchanged the position here, but since we are using the keyword argument, the B will contain 20 and A will contain 10. So let's print A and B to verify it now. So let's print A and B. So let's save this and run now. As you can see, A contains 10 and B contains 20 and the result is 30. This is the difference between the position and keyword argument. In the position argument, the values are assigned in the order they are receiving. For example, 10, 20. If we interchange the order, the value get assigned in the same order. But in the keyword argument, you will use the variable name equal to some value. Since you are using keyword arguments, you don't have to follow any positions or any order. And one more thing is that if you forget to pass the same number of parameters you have, so if you only pass 10, you will get error now, that is miss one positional argument B. So you will have to pass the same number of arguments for the parameters you define here. Here we have two parameters and you will have to pass two values for the parameters. If you miss any values, then you will get error. So let me repeat again. So you will have to match the number of parameters is equal to number of arguments. If you have two parameters, then you will need to have two arguments. So 10, 20. If you run it now, as you can see, it displays 30 now. So let us now see the default parameter. You can you can assign a value to B to 10. So if you don't pass any value for B, it will directly use the default value. So since I am passing a value for A only, I don't pass any value for B. So if you save this and run now, as you can see, it used the default value. Default value is 10. And in the print statement of B, you can see it prints 10. So you will get error if you don't pass any arguments. But in the default arguments, since you have assigned a default value for the argument in the parameter itself, even if you don't pass any value, it will use the default value. This is the default argument. So this is all about the functions.